Well. Man, oh man, tonight was fantastic. What's up, people? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the February 9th episode of AEW Dynamite. Going into this show, there was a lot of hype. Tony Khan, since Friday's Rampage, has been talking about this big announcement, this Forbidden Door, the new signee, and with their history of, people arriving and debuting in AEW, kind of got a sense, it's just going to be like the previous debuts that we've experienced. This wasn't it. This was really unique, really cool. I do got to say that I know there's been slight criticism, but it's fair criticism that AEW tends to depend on debuts to generate interest instead of storytelling, which is true to an extent. But this episode was very clever. They debuted someone, but the story surrounding that debut, this is the first AEW Dynamite, I want to say, since All Out, where it felt like something progressed. This was an awesome show. It started off with the Pinnacle coming out. MJF, he came out on this throne, almost like Macho King Randy Savage did. Got to the ring, made out with somebody mad public display of his affection. Tongue tied. Sorry, guys. But yeah, this was pretty cool. You had him just running down all the opponents and everything. He mentioned Adam Cole. He mentioned pretty much all the top guys, which is okay, this is going somewhere. We're weeks away from Revolution, so they're leading to some good stuff that's about to happen. So you get that. CM Punk comes out. He says, hey, I got two buddies that can help me out. Brings out Sting and Darby Allin. MJF is like, okay, if you want a rematch, you're going to have to beat FTR, but with those two guys. So right away, people are thinking, okay, it's got to be Samoa Joe. Maybe this is Keith Lee or something like that. There's just so much speculation because there's already hype, surrounding who is the new free agent signee that's, fighting tonight. So CM Punk is like, okay, cool. He's like, I got someone in mind. So they go to the back, they go to commercial and everything, and then we cut back to Andrade going face to face with Sting and Darby Allin. This is so cool. If there's one thing about this show tonight, is that they were dropping hints of where things will be after Revolution. And this is so cool because Andrade is basically saying to Sting and Darby Allin, hey, this is your boss. Same thing that he's been doing for week after week. And Sting is like, I don't think you've understood. I'm not his boss. And if you want to talk to Darby, he's right here. You could talk to him like a man. And, Andrade's going back and forth with him. And he says, hey, I'm going to be the next AEW TNT champion. It's like, whoa. Now, mind you, Andrade has been in AEW little less than a year. And this is the first time he's actually, how do I put it? He focused his conversation around a specific title in AEW, which is so cool. I love it. So, him and Darby, again, back and forth, and Darby's like, all right, I got you. That was a really cool segment. Initially, when they went into that segment, I was like, man, it's kind of weird that you have this opening promo starting off the night, which is really cool. And then you have, Andrade in this segment, but it's backstage. It's like, all right, it's kind of, that's one thing I wish they would have spaced out and kind of switched around or something like that, but it is what it is. So you get a match between Wardlow and Blade. He just squashed him, but the key thing about this match, and this happened in the first segment when the Punk and those guys were confronting each other. Punk mentioned, he's like, Wardlow is the only one that beat me. All you guys needed Wardlow to beat me. Wardlow, if you have balls, you're going to drop these guys and go on your own. So that led to, during Wardlow's match, the crowd was just, the whole crowd in Atlantic City, and mind you, this venue, you know what I mean. This venue is the same venue where WrestleMania 4 and 5 was held. Really cool, really loud place, and you heard a thunderous chant of Wardlow, 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 Wardlow. And guy's a made man. He is going to, he's there. Like, what we've seen in the last few weeks, like they were planting the seeds. Now they've jumped the step where they were watering the seeds. Now that thing is growing. So we're heading in that direction where the face turn of Wardlow is, now it's picking up motion and traction. So that was a really cool segment. You had a promo of Penta in a cemetery, basically talking about when Malachi Black spewed the mist into his eyes, that he brought out the dark side of Penta. So he pulls up this dark black mask from a gravesite, which was pretty cool, segment and everything, video package. Like, all right, cool, this is interesting. From there, you have the Inner Circle meeting. Man, oh man, this has been a long time coming. Myself and many other people have been saying the Inner Circle should have broken up either at Blood and Guts last year or at Double or Nothing. This has been, almost 6 months, more than 6 months of where this went on long enough. And the guy who made this segment was Santana. Man, that guy, like I always say, if a segment is really good, and during my reviews, you guys who watch me know this, if a segment is really good, I'm going to tell you after this video, you just need to watch it. Me describing it does it no justice. Basically, Santana stood his ground. He almost choked the crap out of Jericho. He went at him. He lunged at him. And he's basically saying, Eddie Kingston, he's our family. Jericho was just very condescending. You guys remind me of Eddie Guerrero, and it's like, it's funny you mention that, but you mention that about Sammy Guevara, you're like, oh, he reminds me of young Eddie Guerrero. Like everybody who's Hispanic reminds you of Eddie Guerrero. Like there's other Hispanics that wrestle. But Ortiz stood his ground, and man, oh man, this is what we've been waiting for. This isn't if the Inner Circle is breaking up. This is when the Inner Circle is breaking up. They're pretty much broken up. Sammy Guevara, he's like, I'm tired of this. I left this group once. I could leave it again. He throws his jacket down. He leaves. And Ortiz issues a challenge to Chris Jericho and Jake Hager next week. And basically told Jericho, where we come from, we don't handle it like this. We handle it like this. And I was like, ooh. And as Jericho's talking, Santana's looking at the camera. He's just like, this guy. And man, this was so fun. It's like about time we get to see the personality of Santana and Ortiz. And man, next week, I hope Eddie Kingston is there to kick this thing off into the next gear, so we get a Inner Circle versus LAX thing. And come on, baby, come on, man. I want my primos to. Oh God, this is so good. So from there, you get a backstage segment of Roppongi Vice with Tony Schiavone, the Super Click, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks. And they come out. They're talking to Trent and Rocky Romero, who were there. And as they're talking, they attack him and everything. And Adam Cole looks up and he's like, whoa, Look who's here. Coming in front of the camera is none other than New Japan Pro Wrestling's and Bullet Club member Jay White. He beats up Roppongi Vice. More or less, I can't remember what he said, but he looked at him and they just had this look like, So, Jay White, he is not All Elite Wrestling, but he walked through the Forbidden Door. So this is interesting because tomorrow night you have Impact Wrestling. And if you're watching Impact Wrestling, Jay White and the Bullet Club are feuding with Violent by Design and the Good Brothers. So there's a lot of things that are moving that's very Bullet Club like esque. So there's something going on. I'm gonna make another video about that. What my suspicions of where this is going, and it's going. I'm just gonna leave it for that video. I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna go more, but I'm gonna go more into what happened later on in the show. So yeah, Jay White he walked through the Forbidden Door. Then after that, you get the Isaiah Cassidy match where he doesn't know who he's fighting, and the winner of that match goes on to the Face of Revolution ladder match at Revolution. So Isaiah Cassidy comes out. We're waiting. Of course, anticipation's waiting. Like, okay, who is it? Is it Bray Wyatt? Is it Isaiah Swerve Scott? Is it who else? Bray. Like everybody's just asking, like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And the music hits. The Titantron hits. It's none other than Limitless Keith Lee. Man, oh man, did that crowd pop. And this match, they made Keith Lee look like a mega star in that one match. Shout out to Isaiah Cassidy. He sold his butt off for Keith Lee, which was fantastic. Keith Lee was moving around the ring. A lot of people on Twitter were saying that, man, it just came across like Keith Lee's having fun. And all I got to say is, that's another one. Watch the match. He looked good. He did some impressive things. I am excited and enthusiastic about what they're going to do with Keith Lee going forward. I've stated this before in previous reviews of AEW, that it felt like there was a transition going where a lot of people that were in the first and second year, they weren't going to get their contracts renewed and just move on to everything. Hey, there's change happens in every business, but it feels like we're getting a more grittier, physical AEW where it's like, okay, this is some good stuff. But yeah, Keith Lee is All Elite. They tweeted out the graphic. Tony Khan did. But man, this was a fantastic match. This crowd was ecstatic. From there, you get a recap of Mercedes Martinez and Britt Baker. So next week, you're going to have a no DQ match. I believe it's Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. That's going to be good. That match on Rampage that they had was fantastic. These women can go. Man, this is going to be fun. From there, you have, going back to the opening segment, you have FTR coming out and they're facing CM Punk. And CM Punk comes out and everyone's like, okay, who's his partner? And a lot of people in the arena were chanting Samoa Joe. People on social media were like, hey, it might be Samoa Joe. And on Twitter, before this match, CM Punk tweeted at Danhausen and Samoa Joe, just adding to the intrigue, like, oh my God, it's one of those two. And he looks around and wild thing hits. We get FTR versus CM Punk and Jon Moxley. Man, this was a great tag team match. The only issue I had with this match, it felt like it went a little bit too long, where it took away from the main event. Because after this match, you had Jade Cargill and AQA, and you had Serena Deeb, and it felt like those could have went a little bit short, and you could have gave a little bit more time to the main event. That's the only issue I have. But man, this was a great tag team match. I can't remember when Moxley and Punk were a tag team. I don't know. I don't even think they were in WWE. But man, this was so much fun. The crowd was into it. Of course, Tully Blanchard had to get involved, and he got his block knocked off and everything. But man, this was a really cool match. This was a perfect match to follow the Keith Lee debut and Jay White walking through the Forbidden Door. This was just perfect. From there, again, we get the AQA. Formerly, she was in NXT, and I remember watching that NXT when she was very athletic. AQA, Zeta Ramir. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Forgive me, people. But man, she's got a wonderful shooting star press. This match was okay. I think one of the issues I had with this match was that it felt like a timing issue and a chemistry issue between Jade and AQA. It felt like at certain spots, AQA was kind of going too fast, and it was just a timing issue. But man, Jade Cargill finishing this match she caught her from the top rope and did like a sidewalk slam. It was dope. But I do got to give kudos to Jade Cargill because she did show that she is a champion and she is definitely growing in the ring. I'm not going to use the term improving. She's growing in the ring. That was a really good match. She held her composure and just kept, being fluid and stuff like that. But it was a little bit kind of a lack of chemistry. Maybe it's because it's AQA's debut in AEW and just not being familiar with one another. So that was the only issue I had. From there, you had a backstage segment with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, and they're talking about Rampage. So Rampage, we're going to get Young Bucks versus the Roppongi Vice. So Adam Cole is talking to the Young Bucks, and they're like, yeah, we're going to fight them at Rampage. Adam Cole tells them, hey, if you guys need any help, we have Jay White. Matt Jackson, one of the Jacksons. He looks at Adam Cole and he's like, hey, Jay White was Kenny Omega's main, they were at each other's throats. And Adam Cole's words were, well, remember, we took an oath. When you're Bullet Club for life. Okay, this is going somewhere. I'm going to make that video, but this is going into an area that I think people are underestimating what the hell is going to happen in the months ahead. I think they're really underestimating what is going to take place in AEW, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and in Impact Wrestling. I think they're underestimating what is going on. And I don't think it's coincidence that, of course, Kenny Omega's out with recovering from his injuries, and Cody Rhodes is a free agent. These companies have some storyline that we're looking at all these storylines, and there is an underlying storyline that they're about to unveil and bring out that, brace yourselves, this is going to get good. From there, you had Serena Deeb have her almost like you could say a gauntlet match. Not a gauntlet match. You could say kind of like a beat the clock match with a rookie and everything. She stretched her and everything. She won. It was decent. I like that they're giving Serena Deeb a character. Now she's this, okay, I'm a vet and I can stretch all of you and none of you can touch me, which was pretty dope. And then from there, we get to the main event. Adam Page. There's too many Adams and Pages and Cages and all that stuff. So we get Hangman Adam Page versus Lance Archer. This was a very physical match. What I liked was when Justin Roberts was explaining the rules. Of course, usually champion's entrance, the challenger's entrance, and then, they fight. No, as soon as he finished the instructions, boom, they were fighting all the way in the back. Adam Page, he threw Lance Archer through the glass screen in the middle of the entrance stage. Man, there was a spot where Lance Archer did his finishing move on top of the stairs the steel stairs that were sideways, which is damn. The turnbuckle got loose. Jake the Snake did his spinning DDT clothesline, got involved. The crowd started chanting DDT. Dan Lambert came out, which this is the Dan Lambert I like. He came out and he didn't talk. Yes, I like this. He's a great antagonist. It's just, I think with Dan Lambert, he talks too long. Keep it short, concise, and to the point. But man, this was a very physical match. Everybody had color. Hangman Adam Page was just, man, he was bloodied. And man, this was just back and forth. Finally, the match finished where Adam Page, he takes a barbed wire, puts it around his arm. He just wails Lance Archer, and then he wound up spearing him onto the two tables that were at ringside. I believe it was Audrey Edwards was the referee. So the referee counting 1, 2, 3. Adam Page gets up before the 10 count. Again, this was a lights out match, so you got to get up before the 10 count. Lance Archer doesn't get up for the 10 count, so the winner of the match is Hangman Adam Page. He wins. He has the belt. He's celebrating. Then coming down the ramp, none other than Baby Adam Cole. Adam Cole takes the belt, puts it on Adam Page's shoulder, taps it, walks away, looks over his shoulder, keeps walking. This was a fantastic Dynamite. I will say this was the best AEW Dynamite since Grand Slam, when Daniel Bryanson fought Kenny Omega. This was the best Dynamite from beginning to end since Grand Slam. This was a fantastic show. Keith Lee's debut rocked. Did not expect Jay White to come out. The whole Adam Cole talking about, we took an oath and his Bullet Club for life. That's adding a little wrinkle that I don't even think people are paying attention. Hey, there's something going on here. The Inner Circle, pretty much splitting. Basically, you're seeing Santana and Ortiz move on and grow. And I'm sorry, these two guys, after tonight, it's you can't leave them in the Inner Circle. You need to push them to the moon. You need to give them the tag team titles. The Punk Moxley dynamic tag team match was fantastic. Did not expect Moxley to be Punk's tag team match. And this was the first match I believe in AEW history that wasn't announced that wound up being a tag match, which was really cool. And the crowd loved it. The crowd tonight, it was fantastic. They were into it from beginning to end, of course, because of the debut. I do got to say, this Dynamite didn't necessarily depend on the debut. Let me phrase that. Not so much they didn't depend on it, but the debut didn't overshadow all the other storylines. It felt like the debut was just another piece to this wonderful puzzle of this story that they told tonight, that with great anticipation next week, Rampage and everything, there's a lot of intrigue and excitement and enthusiasm as far as AEW and where they're going forward. But yeah, I'm going to watch this Dynamite again. It was that good. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you guys watch this Dynamite. But man, I loved it. I loved it. I enjoyed it. This was entertaining. I know a few weeks back I was talking about a cloud. There's a little speck of the cloud. But so far, this is really good. This is very refreshing. It was entertaining. If you were, again, like all my reviews, if you're looking for something, if you had a long day, you were busy, you were tired, you're like, man, you know what? I just want to watch some professional wrestling and just unwind and just escape from what's going on in the world. This is that show. Hands down, this is that show. But yeah, this is my review for the February 9th episode of AEW Dynamite. Whew, man, this was a great show. Again, I'm looking forward to what's going to happen with Keith Lee. Adam Cole going after the AEW Championship. The whole Bullet Club mention from Adam Cole and what is happening with Jay White and AEW, the Inner Circle, the MJF, Moxley CM Punk dynamic. There's a lot of things going on here that is really good and interesting. And hey, it was fun. And that's all that matters. If it's fun, it's entertaining, and it's good. So again, this is my review for the February 9th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian Colon, at Dedrian180 on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Not Snapchat, TikTok. What am I talking about? Man, this was so much fun. Thank you guys. I enjoy all the comments and everything on every social media platform regarding House of Wrestling. Again, this is my review for the February 9th episode of AEW Dynamite. I'm Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling. I'll see you next time.